Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Wes here. I've been thinking about something over the last couple of days, and I'm curious whether you've noticed the same thing. We have all these incredible tools to help us create content. AI can write things for us, make images, edit video, come up with ideas. Basically, we have more ability to create than we ever had before. But weirdly, I'm not sure social media has become more interesting because of it. In some ways, I actually think the opposite has happened. And I want to talk about why. I think we might all be overthinking social media a little. And I include myself in that, by the way. We talk about algorithms, hooks, retention, posting times, formats, hashtags, trends. And yes, all of that stuff matters. Of course it does. But sometimes I think we've made the whole thing so complicated that we've forgotten what social media actually is. It's people talking to people. That's really it. And I know that sounds ridiculously simple, but I think it's worth remembering. I don't know if you do this as well, but there's this strange pressure now that every post has to perform. You put something out and almost immediately you're checking the numbers. How many views? Did anyone like it? Did people comment? Did the algorithm pick it up? And if it doesn't perform particularly well, there's this temptation to think, okay, well, that didn't work. I've definitely done that. But then sometimes something really simple happens. Someone sends you a DM and says, hey, I really needed to hear that. Or that actually helped me think differently about this. And suddenly those 400 or 500 views feel a lot more meaningful. Because there was a real person on the other side of it. That's the part I think we forgot. A view is a person. A comment is a person. A follower is a person. And sometimes we get so focused on scaling the numbers that we forget who's actually sitting on the other side of the screen. Think about it this way. If you and I were having a coffee, I probably wouldn't sit down and say, here are 5 reasons why our innovative solution is transforming the industry. You'd probably suddenly remember you had somewhere else to be. You'd just talk. You'd ask questions. You'd share something interesting. You'd tell a story. You'd tell what happened yesterday. Maybe have a laugh. That is much closer to how I think content should feel. So one thing I'm personally trying to do more is stop asking, what should I post? And start asking, what have I actually been thinking about? What happened this week that surprised me? What did someone ask me? What did we get wrong? What did we learn? Or what am I excited about? Or what's annoying me? That last one normally gives me quite a lot to work with. But those are the things I would naturally talk about anyway. And strangely enough, they're often the things people respond to the most because they feel real. And I also think we need to give ourselves permission for some content to just be fun. Not every post needs to go viral. Not every video needs to be your greatest piece of work. Sometimes you're just showing up. You're staying part of the conversation. Think about your friendships. Every conversation you have with your friends isn't profound and groundbreaking, hopefully. Sometimes you talk about something useful. Sometimes you talk about something funny. Sometimes absolutely nothing. But over time, those conversations build a relationship. And I think content works in a very similar way. This is actually why I'm so interested in AI, because AI can take a lot of the friction out of creating. It can help you organize an idea. It can help you phrase things better. It can turn one long video into shorter little pieces. It can help you get something out of your head and onto paper. That's genuinely useful. But I don't think the goal should be to automate ourselves out of the conversation. If anything, AI should give us more time to actually say something worth saying. Otherwise, we're using incredibly sophisticated technology to produce more generic LinkedIn posts, which feels like a slightly disappointing use of artificial intelligence. And maybe this is the easiest way I can explain how I see social media now. It's a relationship building at scale. Somebody sees one of your posts, then maybe another one a week later. Then they watch one of your videos. Maybe they agree with something you say. Maybe they completely disagree with something else. But slowly they start to understand who you are, how you think, what you care about, what you know, and then one day they might actually need what your business does. At that point, You're not a complete stranger anymore. There's already some familiarity there, and that is incredibly valuable. So I'm personally trying to think about social media a little differently. Less, how do I beat the algorithm? And more, what I actually say to another person. Less pressure for every post to perform. More focus on actually being useful, interesting, and present. Because I suspect the people and brands we're going to enjoy following the most are not necessarily going to be the ones who's mastered every growth hack and trick. They're going to be the ones we actually like and the ones we know. Anyway, that's something I've been thinking about. I'd genuinely love to know what you think. Do you think we've started overcomplicating social media?